see if I'm
God.
fine.
They are
No,
delicious.
Yeah, you're right.
I know, I'll wait till after.
Okay, so we're going with cultivation.
So,
So the purpose and authority will remain the same.
hold on, let me just.
Yeah.
Manufacturing, facility. Okay, so that means that the,
That all stays the same. Okay, and then we go into definitions, which we have to change the title of that
Well, cultivated.
and the initials of
I
that.
have
Because
a
we
copy-
changed B, right?
I have a copy of it.
Okay, you took out cultivated. Oh, never mind.
Alright, so this is the
Because it's-
AUMMF.
NMF.
Alright,
I
so,
just wanted to see what you did. You did it
oh,
right.
you can look at it if you want.
I just wanted to make sure cultivation wasn't
File.
there, but you changed it.
So the manufacturing
Let me see if I can do
distributes to the retail, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Do we need to spell that out?
I think so. Can't be retail. Should we put that it's wholesale?
What do you mean it can't be, oh, that it's wholesale?
I mean, if it's manufacturing, stipulate that it's wholesale. It's not retail. They can't sell out of the side door or sell off the street. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
That-
what I didn't like in the first definitions of the older bill, that everything was retail and it wasn't
Right.
wholesale.
Alright, so where, would that go under definitions, John? Okay, marijuana to produce manufacturing facilities to marijuana stores and to other cultivation facilities.
facility license under chapter 4.
See, a manufacturing facility, so, I mean, some of them are gonna be kind of dual purpose, some of them are gonna be processing their own material, then some of them are gonna be processing other people's material. Let's say I'm a big grower, and I've got a client, let's use John as an example or something, and he wants, like, I don't know, oil and all this stuff. I would, if I didn't have a license for a manufacturing facility, I would take it to one and have it done, and then sell it to John.
Oh boy, I'm really confused with that.
I mean, you could leave it how you got it worded, I'm just saying it's,
We don't have it worded.
We don't,
We-
yeah, that's what we're trying, we have to.
Well, do you want the law, the,
Well, up to
Bills.
409.
Yeah, what's that one say?
says, it just says, it doesn't say facility, it says manufacturing or manufacture. Manufacturing or manufacture means the production, blending, infusing, compounding, or other preparation of marijuana and marijuana products, including but not limited to marijuana extraction or preparation by means of chemical synthesis. Manufacturing or manufacture does not include cultivation or testing.
Do we use that?
yeah, I would, that's kind of, that's.
Where do edibles come in? Is that in there?
No, edibles are under the, I guess it would be under the manufacturing one.
Well, that's
So that would be our
where they come
definition.
from.
Yeah, it'd be under the manufacturing one,
So,
I guess. I know to do the edibles, you have to have a licensed
So-
kitchen.
Does that need to be reduced at all? Can we say the same thing with a few words?
Yeah, I know, really, it's a lot.
well,
Well, you,
Yeah,
Martha,
but
why
we
don't
have to
you,
be proper.
oh, I don't want to say that. I was gonna say, why don't you read it and see how you can reduce it?
well, I think I probably would put, for the purposes, I think we're talking about a facility though, aren't we?
Yeah,
So, for the purposes of this ordinance, adult use marijuana cultivation facility, or AUMMF, means a facility licensed under chapter 409, right, same chapter?
Mhm.
To produce, blend, infuse, compound, or otherwise prepare marijuana and marijuana products, including but not limited to, just change the
Okay,
form
okay.
of the words.
Yeah.
Is that all right? So,
Yeah.
it'll take me a second to do it.
Yeah, and when it gets to manufacturing in the law, it doesn't give a specific definition other than that was over here. It says operation of products manufacturing facilities.
Products.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can manufacturing facilities make products for both adult use and medical?
Not at this time. I think they're gonna be able to, that's just some of the things they're working on.
So should we say,
No.
call it a products manufacturing facility instead of an adult use?
I was saying no because I thought you was gonna.
Yeah, see, I don't know if they're gonna throw that in there, because I just got a
Yeah.
letter from the
I think
state.
we have to change
You're
it later.
mixing apples and oranges, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
similar, but
Because I had got a letter from the state a couple weeks ago, and if I plan on doing this at some point, so they don't have, under the medical law, the new one, they don't have their paperwork out for it, it's a new classification. So they just said, if you plan on getting into this, please send us a letter so that we know that
Okay.
you're looking at doing this, or you're currently doing it, so.
Okay, here we go, ready? Adult use marijuana manufacturing facility, AUMMF. For purposes of this ordinance, adult use marijuana cultivation manufacturing facility, or AUMMF means a facility licensed under chapter 409 to produce, blend, infuse, compound, or otherwise prepare marijuana and marijuana products, including but not limited to marijuana extraction or preparation by means of chemical synthesis. Manufacturing, in quotes, or manufacture, in quotes, does not include cultivation and testing.
Excellent. Good job.
Wordsmith. I was trying to think if I was supposed to say anything. I was gonna say if Martha wasn't here, she'll be here after the field hockey game. And that Gail was planning on coming, but they're both here.
So, okay, so
Okay, so we got
number,
that.
so B is gonna be taken out of there, we don't need to worry about drug-free zone.
No B
No B.
for definitions? Oh, no, that's
Under
C.
definitions, yeah.
well, you would want a
Oh, wait a minute, sorry.
production
Let me
facility
get rid of this.
A
within,
manufacturing facility?
that means it could be on Main Street.
Yeah, you gotta leave the
gotta
same
leave- Oh, all right,
setbacks,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I was
I just
thinking-
leave all
I was
that the
thinking
same.
Permit, resident,
It was a
town.
yeah, never mind, I was thinking of the topic and not the, okay. Alright, that stays.
Signage, same thing. Security.
Where were you getting all that?
Oh, I'm just going right down the list, sorry.
Oh, I'm in, oh, we're on, oh, you know what? I'm on the
Definition.
one. Permit lot,
Definitions, number 2,
Yeah.
Roman numeral 2,
yeah.
right?
It says drug-free zone permit and loitering, it doesn't say anything about,
No, I think we took that out.
It has
do I have the wrong
loitering,
copy?
it has loitering on the testing.
I thought that's, oh, we're using cultivation, okay. Okay, yep,
No
resident,
loitering,
got
is that
it,
right?
got it, okay.
We have it under testing. This is a retail facility. You probably should have loitering for retail, but I don't think you need loitering for manufacturing. It's a facility. I mean,
No,
Yeah,
it's a plant.
okay. Permit. So then we have
See.
drug-free permit, resident, town, and then we have building permit application.
Yeah.
you have to change initials on that, on A, under building permit.
I changed, excuse me, I did
Blanket.
a search and
Okay.
Change
switch,
it all.
so they're all got changed.
Signage, I'm assuming will stay the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Security will stay the same. Permit location, we're still saying permit location.
Now,
the
this,
same.
remember, this is for this is the one we did for cultivation, not for the testing, so
Right.
we
Right.
changed, we cut down on some of the testing, so.
I'm going side by
Oh, are
side.
you, okay,
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
okay,
so ventilation, okay, so permit location, then we get to ventilation.
That's the same,
okay.
Okay,
I think.
yeah, The permit application, obviously, the permit application's the same, I mean,
Yeah.
basically, right?
It is.
No?
No, it is,
Okay.
same exact
Yeah.
thing.
B,
I really don't see anything else that
Yes.
changes.
name, B, true.
Could be wrong.
Boom, 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 boom. I don't think so either. Let's just see. A, B, C, D, F, G.
So what, did you have something that you
Alright, so we're
just,
gonna keep the
you
permit
change
fee
them
the
all
same because the
automatically?
town, they may change that anyways.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
We're gonna keep the permit fees the same because the town may change them anyways to what they want. Okay?
Do we include that in a note to the ordinance committee?
Yes, I was planning on doing that, to say that, you know,
Alright,
we've
that's-
left that to their discretion or their ruling, or however I figure we should word it.
Yep.
And the other thing is,
With a reminder that other businesses are not paying this fee. I mean, just,
well, I was wondering about like explaining why we chose that fee to try to, I mean, wasn't it
No.
partially?
we don't need to go into that, we just
No.
need to tell them that we set the price, and that it's their prerogative if they have a schedule that they need to go by.
it's actually the prerogative on anything in here.
Oh, of course,
So,
but, okay, so I won't say prerogative, I'll
I
say
wouldn't even tell them.
that we assumed that they had a schedule to go
This
by.
was the recommendation of the committee.
Yeah, period. Let
And
them review it.
in pursuant to their schedule that they.
Why would you say you chose that fee if somebody asked you?
Why?
Why would
So it
you?
wasn't onerous because we don't charge that fee for other businesses that want to require a license or a permit to open and operate. $35 for vitriol, so it's just, so it's not onerous. I mean, you could say, ooh, $5,000, you want to get in the business. That's not right, so
I
that's
don't,
why.
I don't think so either, but I think, I
But
would, but I know, so I just don't understand why we can't say why we chose that.
Well,
Even though they can change it, so that
because
no
then
one
we have
can
to
accuse
justify
us.
everything we put in here.
Right, right.
So that they don't accuse us of like, I thought one of the reasons too was to encourage local, yeah, and local, well, that's why we chose Oxford County too,
Yeah.
to encourage those people first. And because they're gonna pay so much at the state
Well,
level.
we're not trying to
What do you-
encourage anything. In
It-
reality,
It might be nice, I thought, to, when we have this finished, which is gonna be pretty soon, request an audience with the planning,
So they could ask some questions.
yeah, just,
Exactly.
we'd be glad to meet with you because we've worked on this for a
well,
long
you saw how
time.
far my request went for us just having.
The selectmen,
Yeah, but
Oh, the
the,
planning board.
planning board
The-
rather, yeah.
Or even the
The ordinance
ordinance
review
review
committee.
committee. And like encouraging anyway though, I mean, if someone wants to have a business, why discourage them? That's,
Yeah.
to be fair.
So, yeah, the ordinance, oh, yeah.
Right.
The audience would not be with the planning board, it would be with the ordinance review committee, or the selectmen.
On
I'd rather meet
No,
with
it
the
goes to the
ordinance
ordinance review committee
committee.
first, and then it goes to the selectmen, okay, yeah.
suspension or revocation is, B is different,
B is?
yeah. And suspend and revoke, because it talks about the complaints. We took that totally out of the
Right.
testing. Number of complaints law enforcement received, failing to correct a violation of court enforcement. You probably want to put that in there.
It's in there,
Good,
because we use that one.
okay? I mean, I think.
Well, I think,
Complaints,
but I mean,
I
that
don't
was
know
on
why-
this, right? If there are repeated infractions or complaints.
Right.
So I think we ought to keep that in for
Mhm.
something that's gonna be a
Yeah.
set facility that has the potential for, odor or
Or whatever, noise,
whatever.
light.
Yeah,
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 okay.
Yeah,
traffic,
Yeah.
whatever.
and it's a reasonable request.
It protects us, the
Yes.
community.
State law, convenience, penalties, civil board, effective date. That's it.
I think you're done with that one.
You do too?
You got 3 of them done. You're gonna finish them tonight?
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that, but.
You don't think so?
Positive thought, let's give it a shot and see.
I think you are,
We just do one more? Just one more.
One more, retail.
as long as it goes retail.
So where does baking your brownies come under?
That's under the processing,
That's under processing?
yeah.
Huh.
Today is the 19th.
Processing.
So,
This is interesting. Is that a little, oh, I thought it was a little thing for the flash drives to carry them.
No, my glasses actually fold up and
Oh,
fit in
wow.
there.
so that's cultivation.
Yeah, see, it's under processing, but if you're doing, like, if you're making the oils and stuff, your equipment's gonna be signed off by a state engineer, they've got all kinds of stuff going with it. Then if you're breaking the brownies and doing bacon, you've got your kitchen in the place has to be a certified kitchen.
And that's all in
Yeah.
the state law.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
So, but does that go under,
No, it just
Department of
it's
Agriculture.
totally
stays, it stays where you're at, it's in
Okay.
there,
it's already in there,
yeah, it's already in there.
about kitchens and stuff.
So, retail. Do we have any examples on retail?
No, cause they're all one separate. We got the definition. I think you'll get retail done, cause you're only
I think
gonna
so,
change,
too.
you're only gonna change the definition. It's the
So,
only thing to change.
Put the loitering
Are we,
back in, but
are
then.
The loitering
we-
thing.
are we happy with the other ones?
Yeah, I think we went through it completely.
There again, just a thought, I'm just thinking out loud. Part of this is for people to understand it. Do you mention, I understand that retail, the people that work there have to be trained, have to be certified. Is
You have to
that-
be certified, yeah.
Right. Does it make any sense to mention that anywhere, to say that in here, or just leave it? I mean,
I think in the retail, you probably wanna put something to the effect, I mean, they have to, here's the deal, in any,
But they-
trained,
any of the employees, I'm not saying that they have to be trained,
well, I thought they had to be licensed.
they have to be licensed, they have to,
Wow.
it's, this, even like, let's say I own a recreational facility, I'm growing marijuana, all my employees have to have a badge from the state.
Mhm.
And that mainly consists of, they fill out their background check, make sure that they don't have any drug convictions, and then
Mhm.
they get a badge and they can work for you. In fact, even an investor has to have one too. So I don't know if you call it training, I mean,
So that's all through the state.
So I mean, I just, like I said, I'm just throwing it out, and so we bother on, but the states can make you do it, but for the edification of the people looking at this, do we mention that or just?
I think you might
leave it
wanna
out?
add that into all of them, just put a note that all employees must be state
Certified?
licensed.
All
It's
licensed
even
or
on the others, I
state
didn't realize
certified.
it pertained to the others.
Yeah, it pertains to all of it, yeah.
Huh.
Because like I have one employee right now, and I had to, everything had to go into the state, and legally they couldn't work until they come back with a little badge for them.
But isn't that written into the law?
Yeah.
So,
So that's
Why
following
do
the
we-
law.
I see what John's saying, people may go, oh, well, they gotta be certified by the
Right,
state,
you know.
it gives a little more,
It's probably splitting hairs.
teeth in it, I guess, I think,
Sorry.
especially on the retail.
Where would that go
Well-
there? Licensure or
Under-
something?
Under,
Let me just see.
permit application,
No.
Jules, doesn't it say something in the state law that all
permit
employees,
requirements.
State
I'm
law.
looking for it now.
employees, you may not have it written in there right now.
Access.
A licensee
I
may
think
not
it would go
employ
under
a person
permit
under
requirement.
21 years of age.
Well,
No.
the only thing is, you might get your permit before you get your employees.
Yeah,
You know?
What if we put it under definition? Employees, people licensed by the state
How
over
about-
21
how about
years
on
of age.
state law? I mean, isn't it state law that they have to be
Yeah, that's,
licensed?
Yeah, we reference the state law, we don't state the state law.
Right.
Right.
see anything under the store that says it is specifically the way that you're
But we
saying
could-
it, but maybe it says it in general in the beginning.
Well, scratch it, I just threw it out, but it's probably.
Well,
splitting
I
hairs.
think if you wanna catch people's attention, you'd probably wanna put it in definitions. That an employee of a facility,
Yeah,
of a marijuana, adult marijuana use facility.
cause you're talking about resident and town and.
Right, because they have to be a resident of the state of Maine, and they have to do the background check through the state, and they have to get a badge.
Like you're saying
They have
that's
to
for.
be a resident of Maine?
That's for any of the
Yes.
classifications.
4 years.
Any of the
Well, it should be in there,
classifications.
I think.
That's to get a permit, that's
You
not
have
to
to
be
get a
an
permit,
employee.
I don't think it's to be an employee.
Oh,
So,
okay.
no, we're
Yeah.
talking about employee stuff.
No, that's, I'm just,
Leave it out, maybe, just leave it out.
The one thing that I think we do need to put in for retail is that no one under the age of 18 will be
21.
allowed in
21.
the
no, I know
building.
21.
I mean, under 21 will be
Yeah, you
allowed
have
in the
to-
building.
You have to put that, definitely.
Alright,
And that's, I mean, that's what it says right here.
I mean, even the employees have to be 21 years old.
is it a facility, or is it an establishment?
It's an establishment. Isn't it?
Yeah, I would
What's the
say
difference?
facility manufacturer, so.
Yeah,
it's a
facility
difference.
is like a factory.
Operation of marijuana stores. Marijuana store.
You might as well call it a
Retail
store.
store.
Retail store, say right out there.
Store, okay. Storefront or just store?
Store.
So why is that, what's a medical marijuana storefront? What's
Adult
that?
use marijuana retail store, the AUMRS.
They're calling a marijuana storefront where somebody has like a store open that people can.
Or
It's,
because you're growing in the back room and you're bringing it out to the front of a storefront to sell it, which
Yeah.
you can do.
yeah,
Can't do that in a retail store.
right,
It has to
Thank
come
you.
in
I just-
separate.
And that's just, that's medical.
Right.
yes.
Yes.
I don't know why they're gonna call it a retail,
No.
medical retail storefront. I don't call it a storefront, because guess what? The general public cannot walk in
Exactly.
and buy it. That's
Yeah.
stupid. I call it more of an, it's an office.
I think it's
Right.
store.
We have to back up because you said that it's in here about, no you didn't. Someone said that the employees have to be 21 years of age, but it just says applicant must be at least 21 years of age. It
Okay.
doesn't say anything about employees. Or
I
any
just
of
thought
them.
I read somewhere that the employees had to be 21 and licensed in a
They do.
retail store.
It's all the, it's all.
But isn't that the same in all the facilities?
I don't know that. I don't know that.
Where's?
Applicant must
A
be at least 21
person
years of
under
age.
21 years of age may not enter a licensed premises
Right.
of a marijuana establishment. A licensee shall ensure that persons under of 21 years of age do not enter it. Okay, well, that's
So we're gonna
fine.
put, yeah, we will put that in,
Store, retail store.
but we never did address the employees on any of these.
Right.
It's all right.
I think the state,
I guess that's not how, okay.
I mean, maybe to know that in a public forum and tell people is a good idea. But-
So, but we are gonna add that no, what you just read, no one under 21 will be allowed in the facility. Or in the.
I think
What, but they already say that.
you add it in here. This is the one they're gonna read. This little, that goes with the voting thing.
Yeah, but this,
I don't think you need it in there.
you don't? Well, I
It's
mean,
gonna
we
be
have
an
loitering
ordinance.
here and we have,
Yeah,
you know, all that other stuff.
This
I
is a
would-
recap of what the ordinance is.
Yep.
So you gotta have it in the ordinance. I agree
Yeah.
with you, it's gonna get more
Right, more visual.
viewership
Right here.
there.
Yeah, you can put it in there,
What,
somewheres.
what is it you're putting in?
21 years of age to enter a retail marijuana store.
Well, doesn't it have to be that to enter any of these places?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
And it's in the state law, so why are we doing it again? Just to make people more comfortable when they.
Everything
read
we have
that?
in here is in state laws.
Well, no, because we changed them. Like we put Oxford County.
Well,
And
yeah,
we
but
put
majority wise, I
500
mean, subject wise, all this is state law. But, we have to get loitering back in for the retail store.
Yeah, that would be D.
But I don't,
Well,
the thing about loitering that I've been wondering is, although we mention it in the definitions, we never say anything about it in the rest of the ordinance. So I don't understand
your
why
thing
we
about
keep
the-
it there.
What ordinance?
Permit.
It's only
Any of
the
them.
one.
Where is it?
Sorry.
The definition.
On the definitions, but we don't
requirements,
talk
you mean?
about it
Yeah.
in the rest of the ordinance, so why do we have it here? That's what I mean.
Oh, you mean that they're not loitering?
Yeah, there's
And what-
nothing we say about, there's no Lord, why do we have a definition if we never
Never said they
mention
can't do it.
Yeah.
So, here's what I think, cause John's got a point, just in here, somewheres, under your definitions or whatever this is,
Permit requirement.
permit requirements, that all employees or whatever have to be 21 years old and have a state background check and whatever
But
it's-
that's not pertaining to the permit
it's-
requirement. It's really not.
No, you're
It's
right.
for the
It's not. It's
facility itself.
I mean, I would think if somebody starts one of these facilities, they're going to know that.
Yes.
They're going to know that they can't hire people under 21.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, Ted, I get like wanting the public to know, but that I would think would come in a forum or a big thing written out somewhere.
I mean, you guys reference state law, it's gonna be by state law, so.
But I mean, to let them know.
But John
they're
thinks
not
it should be
reading
in
the
there
law.
somewhere.
Your point on loitering is
Okay.
Well, I've wondered it
Doesn't
for
say
like
it anywhere.
weeks. Yeah, I've wondered it for weeks, but I said, well, maybe it'll say it at the store, but the store should say it. I mean, the store should put that on.
Well, yeah.
Well, actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's a state law. You're not to loiter. I don't even think it's. I think it actually says you can't loiter around. You can't be under 21.
Right. It does say you can't loiter, it does.
So maybe just take it out because it's covered by state law. We reference state laws.
I thought that right in the beginning. We took it out of the cultivation, but it's in testing.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, we just.
probably should pull that out.
I think we should take it out. No,
So, hold on, I'm not listening to you.
No, that's
Yeah,
okay.
she's
Do what
the-
you're doing.
No, because it'll
I'm
make a
writing it down.
difference to her, because then she's got to change the
Right.
letters on them or something.
what I'm wondering is, where did we get that from? Did we get that from Holton or? did we-
Holton,
Yeah, we did. Did they
maybe
ever?
they loiter a lot in Holton.
Did they ever address it again?
I think they might have somewhere like I'll have to look. I'll look up my Holton. I'll get my Holton file.
I have it in
I
my
just don't know
hand.
how did I get like. all
I just
these
take it out.
ordinances from-
Because it's a state law. So I'm not. Because then if you leave it there, then you got to put verbiage as to what your reference to that is. Let's not reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I think John's right, I just think you take out the loitering thing, there's no need for it even to be there.
I never, but.
We wondered that for weeks. But we kept thinking someone will loiter.
I'm not
Okay.
loitering. I'm standing
Loitering is
here
out.
waiting for somebody. I have a purpose.
Yeah.
Want me to read that out loud to you?
Want me to read it?
Adult use marijuana products, immature marijuana plants and seedlings to consumers.
Do you want me to read it to you while you're reading yours?
Sure.
Marijuana store. Marijuana store means a facility licensed under this chapter, or the chapter, to purchase adult use marijuana, immature marijuana plants and seedlings from a cultivation facility, to purchase adult use marijuana and adult use marijuana products from a products manufacturing facility, and to sell adult use marijuana products, immature marijuana plants and seedlings to consumers.
It's a mouthful. Is it from a products manufacturing facility or a product?
This is products.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the definition is in.
So I found loitering in Holton's, and it's under, which we did not do, was required notices in the buildings. We didn't do required notices in the buildings, but that's where it says, that's one of the requirements is to have a loitering prohibited sign in the building, or on the building.
Could that be under signage?
Hey,
No, because signage is usually referring to outdoor signage. This is all
Okay.
required notices, like, you know, when you have employees, you have to have those notices and everything like that. So that's where that was, and we completely did not do that with
Any
required
of them.
notices
Any of them.
for any of them, no.
Yeah.
And are we deciding we want to?
I'm okay for now, but
Oh.
you might get me in a little bit.
Are we, so.
So that's just if the, loitering.
Where
It's
is
only
it?
in the one.
Alright,
that's in testing.
let's just hold up a second here. We have, wait, we have gone through, we've gone through,
There's no
manufacturing,
loitering.
okay, we've based it pretty much on
Definitions.
the,
I would think
cultivation
it would actually be
one,
up to them.
and now we're on
Their own
to
business.
retail stores,
Mhm.
and there's something else I wanted to tell you, and I forget what it was.
I don't know where it's sitting, but I have six.
So.
We've made minimal changes. We have taken out loitering because it's not referenced anywhere. So that'll be out of all of them. And
But the only one that's in is, which
Testing.
one? So do you want me to do that right now?
yes, please. That's the only one that we haven't in so far.
So what I'm going to do, so I don't mess myself up, is I'm going to trash the testing PDF.
Just don't hit the wrong button.
So this is the way the cultivation one reads right now?
Yes.
So we have fees and everything in there?
$100 and $200 and $100.
But we just discussed that, and I will put a footnote that
Oh, loiter, so
we
just
have
take out loiter
left
completely.
it at
Is that
200
what you're saying?
for the fact that we were informed
Yes.
that they had their own fee schedule. The town
Oh, it
does.
changes your letters and everything.
What do you mean by that?
We put it
I
at
must have
200,
this
and
program.
Jonathan told us that he believed that they
Is
had
this,
a fee schedule that they go by for permits.
Okay.
So I mean, we could have put it at 500, we could have put it at 1,000, but we left it at 200 because we were under the understanding that it was going to be changed anyways.
Okay.
Do you remember that part?
I mean, I know that we talked about the fact that they can change it to whatever they want.
Well, but the way he addressed it is that they have their own fees.
Except like they have a
Don
schedule
said
with
that.
fees or
Right,
something,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying, yeah.
That-
What does that mean?
I don't know,
And
they
then,
have like
in
a
other
fee
words-
book or something,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think it kind of sounded like he meant all around, like,
I know,
So
but
not
you know,
just
like
for
John
that.
just said, the other
Let's see.
things are so low.
Yeah. Yeah,
I took out
entertainment
loiter, which
permits,
only
like
appeared in
theaters, the-
Yeah,
testing.
35 for alcoholism.
Mhm.
And I know because when Christine sent out she sent out an example of Fairfield's fees, and I had already talked to them, I knew what those were, and I knew why they did that, and I know Farmington's are higher, why they did it, but they also
Fulton's
have
was 500.
right, but Freiburg's is 250.
Yeah.
For anything. But Fairfield and Farmington, bigger areas, but they also were angry with the state because the state was going to keep all the tax money. And so one of them was trying to be for like the lower end of the state fees, and one of them was like mid-range. But like when I said before, like local, I mean like encouraging local Oxford County business over big companies from outside with big money, just throwing it around. That was my thought.
We put it low.
Yeah.
To make it reasonable.
Yeah.
We're not the end say on it, but
Right.
it's our recommendation, so,
Okay, cool.
you know.
And the processing is gonna follow suit.
We just did it. We
But
think.
we didn't change
And
any
we're almost,
of
we're on the
Okay.
retail. Yeah, we didn't really
the,
change
change
it.
any of the.
Just
Oh,
definitions.
Just
But-
just trying to
Yeah,
Catch
let
up.
me print it out in a second, but we're on retail. Shouldn't there be some unique things about retail? And if so, like what? Because I just reading through one of these as the template, I don't see anything different
You may wanna,
really about, testing, where's the other one?
testing this is cultivation here.
Yeah, you have two cultivations
I
there?
have one. These are all testing.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Thanks.
okay, all right. So did you bring testing as
I
well?
mean, what would be unique about a retail store?
I
Nothing.
Really?
I think there has to be.
Do we wanna limit hours of operation or anything like that in here?
Why?
Of a
I
retail store?
don't
He just
know,
said-
I don't know.
They don't limit you, I mean, state license, like a liquor store limits you, but, 1 o'clock. I mean, it's a state thing, it's not a town thing.
I think the state's gonna limit it.
I know
Eventually,
university
if
is that.
they are.
I mean, yeah.
I'm trying to remember if there's any other ordinances that have time limitations as far as the planning board, being on the planning board and having other things come up, and I
I should give.
can't think of any. But I may be wrong.
Yeah, I guess there's no real reason to add it if it's not.
They have security. You need odor abatement for a retail store?
Alright.
I'm sorry?
Probably don't need odor abatement for a retail store.
I think because of the fact that it's already out of all the sensitive areas due to the.
So you're agreeing that you don't need it? I
So
don't think
I
you
think
need
we should-
ventilation in a retail store,
No.
so that can come out.
Everything in there's packed, well, except for seedlings.
They're really
Do
packed.
they even smell?
There's no live plants or anything.
Well,
Yeah, there
seedlings,
are.
seedlings would be,
In
but,
But
retail?
it's the
But-
flower that
they
smells.
but they don't
Oh,
smell the
okay,
definition,
okay,
right?
yeah.
Smell it.
Okay.
So, everything would be packaged so that.
Personally, I would just leave it in there, cause I think the state will put something in there, they'll make it ventilate the place.
Well, if they do, they do, but why put it in?
Well, it just says that they'll do whatever the state says, right?
Yeah.
The ventilation
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just leave it.
No, it's
Yeah.
the state minimum. It's the state
Minimum
minimum.
state, just leave it, no sense
Yeah.
of, because,
Until we had odor abatement. so-
cause some people are gonna go, oh, it's gonna smell in there.
Yeah.
Well,
That's why.
it's in there.
Oh, and so if the
So when
minimum
the state
state
comes up with
requirement
their
for
requirements,
Yeah,
retail
you just
stores
follow
is
adopt
nothing,
them.
then
Yeah,
no,
exactly,
so-
do nothing.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, building permits and sign permits are gonna go through the town.
Town, exactly.
So it's not like we
It's pretty good
Yeah, it's all the same.
I know what this, they should have Febreze in there. Just say they have some cans of Febreze.
Maybe,
I'd
Contaminate
rather
the
smell.
product.
Yeah, that'll ruin the
Yeah.
smell of the weed. Come on. That's an offensive odor to me.
That's a great
You know, on the
point
air
though.
side,
That's an excellent point about
I don't like
olfactory
Febreze.
concerns.
Exactly.
So, I'm hearing not anything to
Yeah.
change.
I think you guys are done pretty much.
From the cultivation one, right, using
Yeah.
that as the
I
model?
think we better,
Yeah.
we better
Testing,
just
the
make
cultivation
sure.
is the more
Cultivation.
extensive one.
Yeah.
Because this just went a little bit too fast and too easy.
Well,
Well,
the
we
first
knew,
one was
we
the
knew it was
hardest.
gonna get easier
Yeah.
with the more.
But when we hit retail, I thought we were gonna have to get more detailed.
Like what?
I don't know.
We'll see.
Well,
Oh,
are we putting in that no one under 21 is allowed in the facility, or is that not necessary?
But they're saying that's all of them, and that's a state law if it's gonna be, I mean, why would that be necessary? I don't know, I don't know.
It is a state law, right?
That's what I thought.
You have to be 21 to work.
Yeah, that's what I thought, you gotta be licensed and all that stuff. That's a state law, and it might be different for the different ones, testing, and so maybe we should just not speak to it and just let the state law rule on it.
Why would it be different?
They're all gonna be
They
21.
all
Yeah,
have to be
usually you
21.
have to
think
get a,
even to work,
usually
you know?
have to get like a card to work. Like
Yeah,
you
but
pay
no, I'm
a
just
fee.
talking
But not a retail store, to
You-
work,
Mhm.
Usually,
To work
in
retail
other
store.
states, the
field?
way it's gone, yeah.
You have to get a badge.
In a field,
You pay
I'm
a
not
registration fee
That's what I'm
annually.
saying.
Usually, but I'm pretty sure you
No,
have
for
to get a
all
certain badge,
aspects.
yeah.
I mean, in other states,
Yeah.
this isn't necessarily going to happen right away.
but for other than retail stores, you're saying.
No, for all aspects.
All
Yeah,
aspects.
so anything that handles the product in any way,
So then that will be in the state law.
it will.
Yes.
So we don't need to put it in our ordinance.
Over 21 and
I
licensed
don't think so.
by the state.
Unless we have a way to actually regulate it.
License
There's
per
no point in
state
putting it in.
You
requirements.
do it overall?
I just added that as number 6.
5, 6.
But is it licensed by
Oh,
the
on
state
here.
or?
Yeah.
Or
Good.
approved by the state or certified by the state?
Good.
What's the
For
word?
Because
state
that's tipping them
requirements?
off that it's there because it's a state law and you're just laying it out for them. That's good.
But I think she was mentioning, and I don't know if they're just talking about workers, but just people in general not being able to enter the building.
That's what I was. Yeah, I
You
was just
can't
saying
enter
the
it if
public,
you're not
They
21.
can't.
not employees, just the public.
But should we put that in the ordinance, or is that? I mean, that's state law anyways. I mean,
Right, yeah, we were talking about that before it came in, that it's the state law.
yeah.
So do we want it in the, I don't think we can have too many bullet points, because I won't read them all.
Right, that,
More
but if we were
steps.
gonna put it somewhere, but is it licensed by the state or certified by the state or approved by the
Is
state?
it license the right word for, employees?
I would think so.
I'm trying to think on how they got it written. It's,
Or is it approved?
Certification?
It's,
Well, if it was approved, that would be either, I mean, however it was approved, whether it's a
I
license
think
or a
it's- I think it's
certification.
more
Right,
like a
it says,
registration.
on the medical one,
But yeah, there are qualifications.
Approved
in
by
the
the state?
medical,
Just say approved,
in the
then,
medical ones, it says that all employees have to be approved
yeah,
by the state.
Okay.
so if
Yeah,
it's,
And then it gives they have to be 21, they can't have any drug charges or any felony drug charges. It's pretty lengthy, but even an investor to be in the facility, he has to have that same badge.
right, so if we just say approved, however they approve them, whether they give them a certificate or a badge or a
Yes.
license.
They get a
however it
badge.
works,
They
yeah.
get a
Yeah,
badge.
that's a good
Yeah.
word.
You get a badge to hang right over your neck, put it on a lanyard.
Okay, so I'd like to bring up the Holton, just happen to have it in my hand, and the required notices, I'm really getting, I'm just wondering if we're missing out on this, because the ones that they have listed, I don't know if they're state required, it doesn't say that. But it said, number one is use of or allowing on-site consumption of marijuana is illegal. Number two, open and public consumption of marijuana in the state of Maine is illegal. Number three, the use of marijuana or marijuana products may impair a person's ability to drive car or operate machinery. Number four, no one under the age of 21 allowed. Number five, loitering prohibited. That's what they put in loitering.
So now are you talking about notices that the different facilities have to place in their building?
Inside, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if these are state required
Yeah, these state
notices.
They're all state requirements.
These are?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, but
The
they
one
can't be, because the consumption of marijuana is allowed in manufacturing
Open and
facilities.
public
Not
consumption.
public, not in public
No, but
places.
that's, you said something else before that, didn't you?
Use of or allowing on-site consumption of marijuana is illegal.
See, that's theirs, but it is legal in a manufacturing facility,
Is it?
because they evidently taste it or something.
Well, they have to sample it.
The testing, you mean?
No,
Sample it.
no, manufacturing, where they make the products.
They get to test it?
They get
Sure.
sampling by employees. I believe so. Maybe they don't. A products manufacturing facility licensee and its employees may sample adult use marijuana and adult use marijuana products manufactured at the licensed premises of the products manufacturing facility for the purposes of product quality control and product research and development.
So you just leave it all out, 'cause it's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
the
all the
state
state.
law.
State law.
Alright, so,
Leave it out.
alright, I just wanted to clarify that we didn't need to do that. Okay. Okay.
Hi there.
Hi!
Hi. Sorry, it was open house night.
Oh, okay. Well, we're all done, so we can
Nice.
leave now.
Here. These are the two that she already printed.
That's
We
awesome.
can
Have a chair.
schedule this, public hearing, whatever it is.
No. These all have to go in front of all those other three.
Oh, I know, but informational.
The public,
I-
public
I-
hearing has a window of time,
Mhm.
and it's 2 weeks prior to the
Right.
vote.
And we can't talk about something that we don't know how it's gonna end up.
Middle school is too nice.
You know
I'm
what I
saying
mean?
is
We don't know what changes are gonna be made yet.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily need to talk about the ordinance entirely. You know, we can do the other aspects of the.
Yeah, but now, like he says, there's a time frame on
It's
it.
gotta be 2 weeks prior to the vote.
But I'm
Public
saying
hearing.
not as a public hearing.
No, you'd have to do education, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd
Oh,
have to,
any
yeah.
education?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's really the only
Do
thing
we
left
have
to
any,
do,
do we have
though.
any suggestions on that? I mean, I've been trying to dig it out of people, but we haven't get very far with it.
Well,
I think I asked once if anyone had any connections that they could contact to see if they were willing to help us with education.
the town, what was it? Town manager,
District attorney.
district attorney.
Well, we want him to come to the public hearing for sure.
Okay.
Now, the education, I don't know if I could call him and see if he'd be
Call-
willing to come speak on it.
You have to do both sides, all sides, right, on education.
He's a district attorney.
No, I mean, I would think he for the public hearing, but are you,
Yeah.
we're talking now like about just educating the public in general, if they want to learn, right? Like, direct him to your site and such.
I gotta revise that now.
But, I mean, like, what if, would your friend come here
Paul.
and speak?
I don't know, I was definitely thinking about it, I mean, we could ask him.
He's busy,
He is busy.
but
When is
Whatever,
The concept.
whenever.
And this isn't,
This
The
is something
public
that we've been
hearing.
told we
Right,
should be doing is educating, and so we haven't been really doing that. And we
Right.
really need
Because
to
we're told to do it, but then like,
yeah.
there's two people that speak a lot, that, or they were, I don't think they do anymore, but,
if he might be able to direct us to someone at the very least. If he's too,
Okay, so you two have
I can ask.
an assignment,
Nice.
okay?
Felicia,
Yes.
before you got here, the ordinance that we made up this, the outline, you haven't shared that with anybody, have you?
You posted
Or,
those?
I mean, if you have,
The
let's,
draft ones I had on the website, but I haven't shared the website with anybody. except
Yeah.
for-
Can you take those down?
Yeah.
Because we're getting a little bit of a pushback for not sharing them with other people outside of the committee.
Of course.
We don't want to share them with the other people. So
We don't, I don't think it's ethical that we do, I really
Right.
don't, because they're not, it's not completed.
people wanna, what do you mean, we're,
Who's pushing?
like, people wanna see them?
people that are no longer part of this committee that
Are
left,
asking to see
they
them.
want copies of everything.
They could go on the website.
That's what we're saying, but we don't wanna give them this. We don't want this out to the public until it's
Done.
approved
okay.
and gone through
Gotcha.
due diligence.
that's
So
fair, it
yeah.
doesn't get
That's-
torn
Because
apart.
it
Yeah,
would be,
that's what
you
we're
know,
saying.
even information on fees and things like that.
So I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
and,
Raise
no, and in
expectations.
discussion, we
Remove
said
it.
the only one who
Says
sent
right
it
now
was
that it's
Felicia,
all
a copy.
drafts.
Right.
And
You know,
That we're
because-
aware of,
I think
so
you
that's
could
why
do
I asked that question.
Because what's gonna happen is they're gonna take it and they're gonna
What
go
is- what
to
is your
Mellon
website?
Mart and you're gonna say, look
It
at, they only
was
were $200,
Right.
you know?
coming up, but
That was
now-
like the other
Okay,
one, like
so
the
we'll get
other
rid of
said,
that and that will
talk
solve that
around
problem.
town
No.
is from the people who have watched the tapings or have been to our meetings. I mean, you know, it's like,
Sure.
people want access to stuff if they can come to the meeting. They can watch the recording.
So,
I'll get into it later.
Two people that speak a lot, or they used to, one is
I'm just gonna text Paul.
is a marijuana supporter and one is very much against, is Scott Gagnon and David Boyer. And David Boyer's from the
I think we- I
Marijuana
think-
Policy Project, and I mean, they probably get paid by their association. Scott Gagnon is like one of the top people that has been against it all the time, so they're
And we
both
do-
really
You're
knowledgeable.
right, we do have to have both sides. Definitely, we have to have both sides.
I mean, and they probably pay themselves, I don't know, could contact them. I would contact David Boyer. I don't know, you can see him, he spoke at Kittery. And they had a cultivation person there, or he had a dispensary or a cultivation
So
facility.
Scott Gang?
Scott Gagnon is, he's led for years he's been against marijuana.
Well, like, what is his, like, what's his approach?
I
What is his take on it?
I
It's,
don't,
His
it's,
expertise.
it's about as bad as it comes.
yeah, I mean,
So, like, is he like what? Like, what is the type of rhetoric that he uses?
It's a drug.
Unsafe.
We're going all the way back to Nancy Reagan era with him.
Reefer
He's
madness.
a-
He's been doing it for
he's
a
a
long
Rick
time.
Whitney all the way around.
he's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's educating.
It's not.
people.
He's
I don't
not.
know if we want to invite that type of ignorance to a conversation. I mean, if someone wants to have an actual conversation
I think you
about
bring a police officer. 'Cause he's not,
yeah, a police
I
officer,
think you get a
somebody
police
that actually
officer
has
to
like
go on
an
the negative
informed
side, because he's
perspective
gonna
on-
speak
yeah.
about what everyone knows. You can't test for it yet, but that's coming.
So a police officer
Here's his
and,
concerns.
well, why couldn't the district attorney come to both of them, if he would?
Yeah.
The thing is, I think you want somebody that's gonna speak towards education, that's.
I just threw it out there, I'm just playing devil's advocate for all
I
sides.
think if you
so
want a real, the right educational speaker, he's gonna speak about the pros and the cons both.
Mhm.
Who's the
Because
district attorney?
I don't think he'll go in that in depth on what we're looking for. We're looking for somebody who wants to speak on the pro side of it, and somebody that also speak on the con side of it, right?
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah, I mean,
Or a person from each.
You know,
yeah,
one from
just
each,
so
yeah.
that no one
But what
is.
you don't want is those two in there fighting.
That's what I
Yeah.
was getting at.
I
Oh,
was
I
gonna
think
say,
they've probably
that's
met
what
up with each other
worries
many
me.
times.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's people out there,
Yeah.
speakers, that they speak on both sides.
Well,
that are
why
kind
can't
of
we just do a
neutral.
little
They speak on the
research?
positive sides and on the negative
I also
sides.
think
Let's
there's.
I'm trying to find you a speaker right now that does both, but I ain't right.
I also think there's probably people on the con side that are intelligent, well informed, and have legitimate reasons other than just a mindset that it refuses to change. I think there's people that have reasons why recreational marijuana might not be the best thing, no matter how, how educated you can be, it might not be the best thing for your town. And I think that might be something we approach instead of just somebody who is kind of stuck in a mindset that isn't willing to open to education or what's happening these days in the cannabis society. So I think that could be, if we're looking for somebody on that con side, somebody who is well informed, who is open minded, but has reasons that are legitimate for saying no. I don't think that's what we should be doing.
I'm sure he
Pro and-
thinks he has reasons, but.
Pro and con research in marijuana debate. I love the internet. It's so easy.
So what is
Marijuana
it?
pros and cons.
Yeah, but what is
Well,
it
there's
saying?
there's a whole thing of them. I mean, I click on one, but this one's February 18, following California's implementation. I mean, maybe if there's enough information out there, maybe we could just get it ourselves.
Here's the
Make
top
it
one right
available.
here, procon.org. And that is
Yep.
about as
So,
factual as it gets. Like number one, marijuana, this is pro. Marijuana legalization boosts the economy. The marijuana industry, adult use, and medical in the United States could exceed 24 billion, and it goes on. And then on the con side, it says this is the people against it. Legalize marijuana creates steep costs for society and taxpayers that far outweigh its revenues. Blah blah blah. Then they go on to the pros are saying that it actually decreases teen use. The cons are saying that it increases it. Traffic deaths, blah blah blah. I mean, the pros
Paul
are saying
wants to
that
know
it dropped by
when.
11%.
Maybe, and
The
maybe
cons are
talking
saying
like,
it rose
maybe
by.
he could suggest some.
Well, that's what I asked
just
him,
some-
but
yeah.
he's saying when. So are we thinking like in the next month, in the next 3 months,
It
next
does-
spring?
Whenever,
Whenever.
yes. Because, I mean, we gotta get started on it.
Okay.
That's what is being.
And like, we're probably not gonna go to vote until next June, so sometime,
Right.
like,
Because it's being jammed down our throat that we need to educate.
Because Donna and Eric have mentioned, I can't think of her name right this minute, but the lady that sends out all the information for the medical, is it Lewis, her last name is Lewis. They thought she would be willing to speak, but
But do we want to get into the medical subject?
just speak on the subject itself, I think.
Okay, as long as it's not
I think,
just medical.
right. But that's
Just the
what they
pros and
mentioned.
cons of medical will not
I
help
can't
us.
think of her first name, Catherine Lewis, maybe? I did get to speak to that lady in Kittery, the town manager of Kittery, and she said those people that spoke in that presentation online,
Ella.
they didn't require the dictate.
Hey, I'm just getting ready to leave.
One of them was, he's a doctor, but he's researched marijuana all his life since a teen. And did you ever get to watch any of the?
I remember,
Yeah, he was fascinating. He had the video of the guy with Parkinson's, and so he was just giving his information on what he's learned, and then David Boyer spoke, and then another person that had a facility spoke and showed pictures of his facility. He's from Maine. We were all from Maine. But then they had another presentation, and I think that person, separate presentation, and I didn't watch all of that one. I think he might have been from Colorado. He was talking about impact and such.
So I think we're just at the point where whoever's willing to do some contact with people, pro and con, that we can address that at the next meeting. And I think at the next meeting, hopefully, well, we have it today, but I mean, at the next meeting, once these are all printed out and ready, we will take a vote on them.
So do you want copies of all these for the next one, next meeting?
Well, I'm not expecting you to copy all of them, but.
Doesn't matter.
They could do it at the town too.
Yeah. It doesn't take that long.
I mean, normally
Sometimes paper and ink is a precious resource to people.
Yeah, I had them print mine today at the Citizen because I didn't know if I'd have enough ink.
I gotta roll.
So,
Oh, you done?
so here's,
Can I-
just while we were sitting there and.
See you guys, gotta run, sorry.
Bye.
Oh, Mike, I want to tell you a compliment.
What's that?
I want to come tell you a compliment someone gave you. I thought it was a compliment.
So I rewrote this thing, whatever that word.
Oh, yeah, yes, the summary.
So I wrote,
Summary.
adult use marijuana facilities. And I put a town appointed committee has written ordinances to control the licensing of marijuana cultivation, testing, and manufacturing facilities and retail stores. So it opened it to everything, not just
Okay.
cultivation.
Yeah.
The following is a summary of important points covered to protect our town and the rights of all those involved. 1, anyone entering an adult use marijuana facility must be 21 years of age. Put that right up front. 2, no facility can be built within 1,000-foot boundaries surrounding all schools and public safe zones. This would prohibit any facility within the town proper. 3, licensing is required, first from the state with extensive vetting, and then by the town of Bethel. Any license to operate in Bethel requires town approval. I should change that to permit. Now license, let's keep it a license. Each facility must meet state and town specifications for security, safety, and ventilation. Licensing can be revoked if there are repeated, in parentheses, substantiated infractions or complaints. Licensing in Bethel is only permitted for residents of Oxford County, and all employees of an adult use marijuana facility must be over 21 years of age and approved by the state.
Very good.
So that added a couple things that we talked about today.
And that was part of what I
That's-
That was just something
This
that,
Condensed version of everything we did.
of it. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It sounds like
Yeah.
a nice.
This is hopefully what they will pass out, either at the town, hearing, a meeting, whatever they're gonna call it, or at voting, or both, hopefully at both. Along with the map,
Okay, yep.
along with the map of the zones. Do you have the map?
No.
This is the zones that are not allowed. Alright, Jewel?
Yes. So,
So the
do I
meeting
make
is
a
adjourned?
motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes.
Second it.
All in favor?
There.
Yeah.
Hey, I got company.
Good job. Thank you.
Nice to see you here, Gail.
Yeah.
And she was at the meeting the other night.
Yes, I know.
so does this go anywhere?